Hello, I'm very happy to introduce the research paper, which is titled "A Study on the Strategies of Developing the Autonomous Human Social Behavior of Virtual Users based on the psychological interpretation in Atypical Architectural Shift." Yeah, it's kind of too long. Uh, okay, let me explain about title first. So in this paper, we're going to make some kind of autonomous social behavior for agent. Agent is kind of a human figured some kind of character for the human behavior simulation in the middle of the design process. Especially in this, we are focused on how to simulate human behavior in the typical. It's not linear and not box-shaped buildings. Yeah. And especially in this paper, we're going to think about the social interaction, social behaviors in the typical buildings. My course is Young-Lim Lee is a professor in the University in the Department of Psychology, and then I'm Yoon-Gil Lee, the professor in the Department of Architecture in Hoso University. To continue. So first, background. So the atypically shaped buildings are becoming increasingly popular in modern society. This means that we can easily see the atypical building, especially the capital or the city, urban. Uh, is atypical mean the is not box shaped. It's not some modern figure shapes. Is they contain kind of curved shapes or they kind of computerized the patterned shapes that we can call the atypical, so non-Euclidean shapes. It's popular. There are a lot of buildings in the Seoul or the New York and that big capital city you can see. And then one of the representative building in the atypical building is the DDP, Dongdaemun Design Plaza, designed by Zaha Hadid. You can see in the Seoul city also. And then ability to design a typical building is invaluable for architect or the student in the development architect. Everybody follow this kind of design shapes in their project. So and one of some very important factor to win the competition, how can use this kind of some typical shapes in their project. That's why the ability to design the atypical shape is important in the nowadays in the field of some practical field of architectural design. So the design process of the typical building is somewhat different from the traditional architecture uh, because it requires the unusual form and creating of unusual form. It kind of funky shapes, right? So design the more focus on the shape of buildings. Shape. Uh, as you know, the building contain a lot of component, a lot of important component. So, uh, but for the designing the typical the building, so it shape itself is very not easy, difficult. The design must the focus on the how to make more unique, unusual shapes. That's why when designing the typical buildings, the architect can ignore the user's convenience or safety, something like that. That's kind of core value of the building, core value, user. The human factor is very, very important. Okay? It's kind of a significant standard for evaluating the value of building. So my project is start from that kind of problem. So again, architects usually ignore human factor because they normally focus more on the unusual shapes of buildings. That's a problem. No problem. So human behavior simulation. So human behavior simulation technology can allow architects to figure out the problems related to human factor in the middle of design process. Okay. Hong and Lee, the state the present representation of human behavior in typical architectural design has positive impact as it improves architects' problem detection ability, delayed design development, the existing design field, and a typical design. There, in the previous research, there are the several positive effects of the human behavior simulation in the middle of the design process. Okay? So uh, that's why we apply human behavior simulation to the typical design process. This is the overall idea of this project. So the left image is kind of some design tool for the typical architectural space, and this is some purpose of this project. Uh, we want to make some human behavior simulation tools. There are several components in there. Okay, so uh, we make some this kind of some simulation some tool that we can give the design feedback with using the human factor agents. Agents is very smart, and they show up the kind of some existing the unexpected problem by their behavior, intelligent behavior. This project title is Developing a Technology of Human Behavior Simulation for Evaluation of Terrain Performance in the Atypical Architectural Space. That's whole the vision of this project. So this is 5-year project. So this is 30 years. So first first year we wanna make a platform. Okay? Platform. The core name is Octobeach. Beach. So platform. And then so the second and third and fourth year we're gonna make some uh, intelligent intelligent agent. The last year, second year, so we make kind of uh, some interaction intelligence for interacting to the typical geometry. So the this year now, so we are starting to develop the social interaction in typical architecture. Okay, I would like to explain the previous works. The first year we're gonna make some good. We did a field survey. The DDP is Dongdaemun Design Plaza is the most famous building, a typical building in the Korea. We survey and take a picture and behavior with typical shapes. And also we developed uh, we have a platform. The human behavior simulation platform is called name is Octobeach. Beach. Uh, Octobeach is kind of plugin module in the Rhino. Rhino is which is the kind of some tool, the design tool to the design the atypical architectural shapes, the very famous commercial tools. And then this is Grasshopper. We're gonna make the simulation model based on the Grasshopper, the SDK, and the software developer kit. And then when when you make some this kinds of model and then open the Grasshopper, put our module Octobeach, you can automatically generalize some virtual space. We can put some agent there. It still not very smart. Okay? But now the the goal of some this year, so we're gonna make we uh, the, we're gonna make the more intelligent the agent. We're gonna give some interest to the last year. So for the for the intelligence of the agents, we developed the autonomous agents behavior interacting with a typical geometry, and then we developed the strategy uh, to computerize this idea and put the Octobeach. This is last year, and this year so we're gonna make a social interaction in on the typical the building. There are a lot of people to interact with each other. So it's kind of a phenomenon, social phenomenon. But the psychologically we can interpret that kind of thing, and then we can categorize the their the behaviors, and then we can make a pattern, and then we can make the computerize. So that kind of some idea that this pattern, if we computerize the pattern, the agent can behave more intelligently. That's our goal. How to do that? First, we extract some patterns of social behavior in typical buildings. There are some field surveys on there, and then we can solve and categorize and then analysis. So, and then we psychologically interpret it, and then we're gonna extract four kind of patterns. We can call self-perception or self-evaluation, the behavior conformity, in-group biases, and the behavior setting. This is the four important categories of social behaviors in the typical buildings. Okay, let me introduce some each pattern. Self-perception. According to the theory of the self-perception, when uh, when our attitude is weak or ambiguous, by observing our behavior and in the environment in which it occurred, when infer our attitude as others observe us. So sometimes we don't know myself, but we can when we see others, we understand my situation. That's a perception. This kind of some inner social some behavior. Okay? The behavior conformity is more easy. Just follow others. Here, someone read this kind of code word. Okay, I follow naturally or unconsciously. The since human being exists in society, they are the impacted by each other. Whether we are the superficially following or actually resonating, we are influenced by the action of others. Someone take photo, take like that, and then we we follow. Okay, the observation of the majority of the individuals learning fold on the wall, leaning for the wall, the resting or sitting on the chair, can be seen as action. The harmony with the action of the people other than one's self or party, and this action can be seen as a conformity with our conscious intentions. That's it, the behavior conformity. The in-group biases. So, humans have desire to be part of the community. Here, look at this as the image. There's groups, there groups. These are kind of some uh, pattern, each pattern. So there are some kind of some part. We wanna go and go and be a part. We have a desire to be a part of the community. There are tendencies to be adventurous to group the belong belong. And there is a group biases identification, which translates to not want to leave one's group by being some unusual. Therefore, by acting the same as a majority, we all know the the behave same as a majority. When the field supported by the close relationships, since we belong to the same groups, and uh, that's biases. Or behavior setting. So this is very simple and easy. Chair or some food court restaurant order, hospital, hospital waiting room. So uh, there are some kind of norm on the regarding to the behavior setting environment. We naturally follow that kind of things. That's behavior setting. Okay. In so how to do computerize? Okay, there's Octobridge. We want to put some intelligence for social behavior there, self-perception, in biases, behavioral conformity, behavioral setting. How to that? How to put it to the Octobridge? Okay, uh, um, I will introduce the strategies of developing the autonomous human social behavior virtual users. So, uh, I introduced four kind of some social behavior patterns. The first is uh, self-perception, but it's not easy to computerize. So uh, we 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 computerize these three kind of patterns. So behavioral conformity and behavioral setting, then group biases. First, the behavioral conformity. So this the figure show the strategy for computerizing behavioral conformity. Uh, Behavioral conformity consists of social action that conform to the behavior another party. So uh, uh, the when this one when other agent behavior come into the in the agent field of view, the possibility of the similar behavior increase and is likely to develop into the behavioral component. That's kind of our strategy. Next is the the strategy for group biases. In-group bias emerge as the result of social follow-up. In other words, people with social relationships take action that are similar or relate to another person's action In order to develop social interaction in this way, it is priority to establish two social relationship of agents. When other social related agents enter the field of view, in-group bias can be implemented in the way they increase the likelihood of causing socially relevant action in the preference to other actions. This image illustrates some strategic operation of this idea in loop biases. This behavior setting is very easy. Uh, there are some kind of social normatives. When these guys come to this place, so uh, this guy this place gives some kind of function to this agent, and then uh, the the following this kind of functions is possibly up going out. Eventually, this agent follow these social normatives. This is different the behavior setting, and this is two different kind of social situation. There there is a few people in there, and the mother or child just stand like that. But crowded, there are a lot of people. Uh, the mother want to protect the child. They close to and hand the kind of social relation. That's mean the social environment the enforce the agent agent to different behavior. The kind of the behavior that you can call get conclusion. So um, this study introduced a strategy for the computational realization of social interaction in the atypical space. In other words, the purpose is to show how it is possible to present the reality of social interaction within the design space to the architect by visualizing the social interaction or agent in the form of the person in the real time. In this study, we focus on the established strategy for development or described in it some detail. It is not now necessary to computerize the methods uh, presented in this study through the future study. In the further study, we will apply this development strategy to the activities, and in addition, the more in-depth discussion of the needed and the correlation between our typical space and social interaction. I'm very thanks for your attention. Thank you.